My name is Alicia Loo. I'll be your host tonight. So later on, we'll have our speaker, Henry Loo, who will be talking about high density land development for over 100 units condo. But up first, we have our guest speaker, Rommel Pravia, who will be presenting on raising capital for real estate investments. So our first guest, Rommel Pravia, started his real estate journey in 2019, doing flips, burst strategy, and wholesaling. His background is in financial services, being a financial advisor for over 8 years and mortgage agent for 3 years. But his specialty now is in coaching new real estate investors and helping investors raise capital. So yes, well, please welcome Rommel Pravia.
Okay, well, thank you for the introduction. I'm just gonna share my screen here. And if you could kindly let me know that you can actually see my screen.
Yep.
That would be great.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so again, my name is Rommel Pravia. I'm a mortgage agent, a real estate investor, and coach. I wear many different hats. I love working with real estate investors, whether they're new real estate investors or experienced. I'll give you a little bit of a background on myself, and then I'm going to get right into raising capital for your real estate investors. Okay. And my objective today is for you to start. I have one objective only, for you guys to start your own private lenders list. Okay. Because that's something that a lot of new real estate investors and even experienced real estate investors fail to do. And it's actually quite easy. Okay, so a little bit of background on myself. I'll fly through this. Graduated from Western University in London, Ontario, from economics in '99. I started working in wealth management firms. I grew a $2 million book of wealth management business to 12 million, then sold it for a profit. Started a digital marketing agency that grew to 13 employees and then sold it for a profit. Got licensed to sell mortgages about 3 years ago. I've been doing that. And I enjoy it. I love working with real estate investors, number crunching, expanding their portfolios, finding ways to fund their deals, etc. Yeah, I started my real estate journey in 2019, believe it or not. So it hasn't been that long, but I've been all in on real estate, if you will, and I have learned lots. Okay, I've got a coaching business called the Future Real Estate Millionaire Coaching. My focus is on mindset, all the knowledge. I obviously provide the knowledge piece as well for new real estate investors, but the mindset piece is huge. Okay, I'm a big believer of 80% mindset, 20% action, and I teach my students how to basically double or triple their business through all the different techniques that I use in my coaching business. It's a one-to-one coaching business. Yeah, I'll be launching an advanced wealth management where I'll be offering infinite banking and all kinds of different strategies for the wealthy, the ultra wealthy, etc. And I plan to launch a MIC or real estate fund in 2024. Not sure when that'll happen, but it's definitely on the works. Okay, so as I mentioned, big believer of 80% mindset, 20% action. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of the Henry Ford's quote, whether you think you can or you can't, you are correct. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about OPM, right? So OPM can come in different forms, whether it's, you're getting funding or financing from banks, credit unions, B lenders, etc. That is considered other people's money. Individual private lenders or hard money lenders, family and friends, loans, your lines of credit, credit cards, etc. Okay, so if you're a new real estate investor, there's different routes that you can take in order for you to start your real estate investing career. If you are an experienced real estate investor, again, building your own individual private lenders list is ideal. Okay, so let's talk about the different types of private lenders. So we've got institutions, individual real estate investors, syndicates. We can add MIC funds here. So with institutions, you got institutions like OC Capital who lend on the asset and not the applicant. I'm sure, most of you have heard of the SCR loans or debt service coverage ratio loans, okay? Those are typically used when investing in multifamilies. So lenders such as Sequence Capital and other financial institutions operate in that private lending space, okay? Individual real estate investors, so just people like you and I who invest in or lend out our own money. Okay, and they've got registered lending businesses and have experience in lending, in lending. Okay, syndicates are a self-organizing group where a group of real estate investors come together and they lend out their money for bigger projects. Okay, so first off, before I give you the insights and the tips on how to start your private lenders list, it's really important for us to understand how private lenders underwrite their deals, okay? So for private lenders, security is trump, okay? So their business depends on it. Most of the private lenders that I deal with, that I send deals to, they have over 5 or 10 years experience. They have their criteria, but they definitely will ask for security or collateral, okay? It's very important that you get to know their business, okay? So once you start to build your own private lenders list, make sure that you have that conversation around what type of deals they fund and how much they have to lend out and what markets they lend out in, okay? They lend on the appraised value, okay? So a lot of new real estate investors make the mistake that, the lenders or private lenders are going to lend out on the ARV or after repair value. I have not seen it once where they have lent out on the ARV. Yes, it's a factor. Yes, they look at it. However, they want to make sure that they get their money back should something go wrong. Okay, so they will lend out on the appraised value. Okay, the nature of the business is once you do a first deal with a real estate private lender, you will likely get a second deal and perhaps even a third deal. Okay, because you're developing a relationship with them, and so they like doing multiple deals. Again, assuming everything goes well. Terms and conditions, most private lenders are experienced real estate investors, as I mentioned. Most time they'll dictate the terms of the loan. Okay, so this presentation is a little bit outdated, but I know the rates are coming down. But it's normal to see 1 year, 6 month to 1 year terms, closed, 14 to all the way to 18% for mid funds. And then they will likely also charge a 2% lender fee. If you go through the brokerage route, you're likely are going to pay 1.5% to 2% broker fee. Okay, so just a quick slide here on residential versus commercial properties. Yes, they are underwritten absolutely differently. So commercial properties are underwritten more on the property's net operating income, rent rolls, lease agreements, age of the property, etc. Whereas residential properties, depending on the type of strategy that you're using, they'll take a look at the strength of the applicant, they'll take a look at the asset, the ARV, the rentals that you're going to be doing, etc. Okay, so let's get to the cost of my presentation here. And this is where you need to be taking notes and implementing some of these strategies that I highly recommend. So when I first started in real estate, I had no idea what I was doing. However, because I was in the mortgage business as well, I got to know, the private lending game, if you will. And so here is what you need to do in order to start your own private lenders list. Number one, Google search private or hard money lenders. You can even go as far as, searching for MIC funds to lend out to real estate investors and their projects, or even, search for promissory note lenders. Okay. depending on where you came from, how you were educated on the real estate, in the real estate business, you may be big on OPM, right? On promissory notes and the like. It seems to me that I've been getting a lot of calls from people asking for promissory notes for renovations, down payments, etc. Okay, it's probably going to be the trickiest to find. So promissory note lenders are not necessarily that visible out there. Okay, when I say that, I mean in social media groups. Okay, but I'm starting to basically, grow the private lenders list that do lend on promissory notes. They'll likely ask for security and collateral or personal guarantee. Okay, private lending Facebook groups. Really important that you join private lending groups. Okay, there's new ones that are being started every day, it seems. And so join those groups and start developing business relationships with the private lenders on that group. Okay, that way you can go to them directly when you do have a project to fund. Network, ask your network for referrals for private lenders. Okay, other real estate investors may know private lenders or know of a broker that knows a private lender or a syndicate or what have you. So it's important that you ask for a referral for a private lender. They're out there. It's just a matter of you communicating what it is that you're looking for. Okay, and lastly, work with your mortgage agent or broker. So I have go-to mortgage agents that I work with that work really fast, that are specialists at finding funding for projects using their own private lenders list, syndicates, MIG funds, etc. Okay. Excuse me. So the one piece here, and this would be the number one way to find private lenders: post on social media. We live in a digital world, and when you're posting on social media, all you need to do is say, hello everyone, I am looking to grow my private lenders list, and if you're a private lender, please comment below with your email or DM me so I can add you to my private lenders list. Literally, that's how I've grown my private lenders list to over, I think, over 10 at the moment, but it'll probably go up to about 20 or so by the end of next month, because this is one of my focused areas. Okay, so do that, write that down and put it on your calendar to implement. Post on social media. Yes, it is sometimes an art how you post so that you can get that interest, so that you can generate people contacting you, private lenders contacting you regarding private lending. Okay, so the more detailed, the better. So private lenders are getting very detailed oriented these days, and for a reason. Obviously, the markets have been up and down, and now we're just starting to see rates drop, but it's still an environment where you have to do your due diligence. Private lenders have to be very careful, and they're very detailed. So some of them have even gone as far as, when you provide them with a renovations list, they want to know each renovation, the cost, and the type of material and brand that you're going to be using. One particular private lender, in this case, institutional private lender in Calvert Mortgages, is one that is asking for that detailed information. Okay, so the more detailed, the more organized you are in your application to a private lender, they'll appreciate it, and it'll make the application process smoother. Okay, so why private lending? Well, private lenders allow you to have fast closings. They can fund a project within 3 to 5 business days. They are more flexible, obviously, than the banks, credit unions, and B lenders, right? And they have some flexibility in terms and conditions. And obviously, if you develop a relationship, again, if you do a first deal with a private lender, they're likely to do a second deal and a third deal, etc. Okay. There are specific products out there for flips and bursts, I even have a lender who lends out on the deposit. So if you want to lock in a multifamily deal, a commercial deal of over $1 million, well, I'm going to say, probably $5 to $10 million, multifamily deal that you want to lock in. You don't want to use your capital because you're utilizing it for something else, or you've got it tied up somewhere else. I've got a lender who will lend out on the contract itself. So they will provide you with a deposit for you to lock in the deal. The minimum is $1 million. And, they make sure that they do their due diligence, but they do lend out on the contract itself, not the asset. So it's a very specific type of product. If you have any questions about it, or are interested in learning more about it, let me know. Just DM me on Facebook, and we can take it from there. Okay. I don't think we have a lot of new real estate investors, so I'm going to just skip this slide here. Okay, that's my coaching programs, which is something different. Okay, so I'm going to leave it open for questions and answers, or Q&A session at this point, because the main thing that I wanted to, and I'm just going to stop sharing, just bear with me. Okay, so the main thing that I wanted to come across and that I wanted to share with you is basically for you to start a private lenders list. Okay, so again, the main way to do that is through social media posts. Be creative, ask for referrals from your network, posting on social media, and just quickly here on some other techniques of raising capital. If you are looking for a money partner, the best thing to do there is to do an investor pitch for your project. Do a thorough investor pitch presentation so that you can present it to potential investors. Okay, that is if you're looking for an equity partner or a money partner. If you are looking for a joint venture partner, there's also ways for you to attract those types of investors so that they can invest in your project. I have found that posting on social media is an art, one that can be easily learned. So take the first step today and make your first post to look for private lenders, or if you're looking for money partners or joint venture partners. I have a piece on social media post hacks where I have about 25 different lending opportunity social media posts. If you're interested in it, it's free. Contact me again. I think Henry may share my information on Facebook or my email address so that you can email me, contact me there, and that way I can send that off to you for free. That is my presentation, folks. Any questions?
Yes, so someone in the chat asked, how can you choose good lenders? Because in some Facebook group for lenders, there are scams. So some people want upfront fees before lending. So what would you recommend?
Yeah, definitely do not go that route. As soon as I say we have an upfront fee, application fee, just X out the conversation and just move on. Okay, so the private lenders list that I have are vetted. I've basically composed them throughout the years and developed relationships with these folks. A lot of them are both private lender and mortgage agents, or mortgage agents that have access to their own private lenders list. So make sure that you vet the private lender. Stay away from anybody who says, I need, send me your application, and then they ask you for an application fee or a processing fee or any of that sort. In Canada, we do not have that much or that many people doing that. In the States, it's rampant. There's way too many people doing that, sending emails that they're a private lender and so on. So just stay away from that. And like I said, build your list organically. So ask your network for private lenders referrals, post on social media private lenders lists. I have about 4 or 5 groups on private lenders lists or private lenders groups on Facebook. Again, get in touch with me. I can email you the list so you can be part of those groups.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have questions?
Yeah, indeed. What I see a lot in the groups, there's a lot of US people. They tend to market aggressively, and of course, what they want is the upfront fee. That's the most important for them. Yeah, we don't know if there's legit or not. Yeah.
Yeah. So one last thing here before I know Henry has to do his presentation or part of the presentation. There, I have a Facebook group called How to Raise Capital for Real Estate Investors. So feel free to look it up and join. I share a lot of information and tips on raising capital there, and I can connect you to private lender or a mortgage agent. So happy to help.
Thank you so much, Rommel.
My pleasure.
I see you're always busy on social media.
Yeah. No, I ran a digital marketing agency for 3 or 4 years, so I brought that experience with me. So that's the reason why I'm so active.
Okay, so I was wondering how busy you are.
Very busy,
Okay.
but gladly so.
Anyone has any more question for Rommel before we move to the next presentation? No? Okay, if there's anyone, you can text on the chat, please. So I will share my screen to continue. Thank you so much, Rommel.
My pleasure.
Okay, so yeah, my presentation will be on land development, high density. Some of you have seen in person, but anyway, it's good to as a refresher. And if you have any question, please ask. So I'm the chairman of the Atlantic Wealth Club. We just created that in August last year. And I'm an architect. I graduated in France. For those who don't know me, I'm international award architect and property developer. And what you see at the left is at bottom is all the awards we've received international, like UK, Dubai, Rome, and Paris. And so I'm author. I wrote 2 books in Canada, and then below and coach. What you see below is the 2 pictures of 2 buildings I've realized. That means that the one is the office building, and one is the condominium project of 100 units over. This one I'm going to show you. And presently, I'm specializing in land development, vacation rentals, and modular housing in Nova Scotia. I previously was in Toronto and Niagara Falls. So these are international press and TV, over 100 of them internationally. I was very active in the private lending space in Canada during COVID. During COVID, what do you do, right? You look at the stocks, and then we say, oh, lost stocks is losing money. So we remove the money and we put into private lending. So what we were doing is mostly bridging loans and flips, financing flips around all over Ontario. And what we can see here is what I'm doing in Nova Scotia on the Eastern Shore, land development. We own in the front, you see the lodge and the cabins. At the back is the land that we are expanding. And on the right, you can see the sketch of 22 new development permit approved or build to rent. So we are going to do like cabins, and we are doing 22 cabins for sale. Now it's just early stage. We just do a new partnership for 14 homes to build and 6 vacation rental waterfront resort near Bridgewater. Now, this is the presentation I have for you tonight, is land development high density. You can see the sketch. It's a 3D design on top, and below is the already built and delivered. It's On the right, you can see the Minister of Housing inaugurating the project. And here we are talking about 116 units, a 1.7 acre of land. So it's quite high density. The reason why is always go for highest best use, not go for like just design something and then you don't know, you could have done 3 times more maybe, right? Below is inauguration by Minister of Housing and Mayor of the city. And of course, if you see the image we put forward is always, if you have something to sell, give a very good image, 3D, so that photorealistic if possible, so that the people can see themselves into the project. So first of all, land acquisition for development. Some people ask me, do I buy the land first and then see what to do on it? I would see the reverse. See what you want to build and then look for the land that is adapted to what you want to build. Because the zoning will allow you different things and you don't want to be dictated by the zoning. You want to know what you want to build first. So the type of development, search land, size, the price, of course, and what is the zoning allowing you. Do not buy until you check your zone. So if you want to do land development, you already buy the land and then you find out that it's not appropriate. What do you do with the land? You're stuck, right? So better take some time to do your due diligence and check what you can really build on it. So of course you have to dream your vision, do a preliminary concept, and always highest best used. So if the zoning say you can go 12-story, maybe you can ask for 12-story, that's it. You can, sometimes you can ask for 15, they can ask you for a change in bylaw, but if you ask, it's allowed for 12-story and you do only 10, you're missing two-story. And two-story of income, it's all about money, right? Do your feasibility study, cost of project versus selling price. Your profit margin, very important. If you have no profit, what's the point of doing the project, right? Financing, make sure you can finance the project. Land acquisition, whether you have conditions or you are doing JV with your, and then of course, see with your, have your lawyer check whether everything is okay, right? And the co-ownership, how it's going to happen. What you see on the picture is on top is, it was an agricultural land, and you see at the back was like ground plus 3, but we analyzed the whole situation where the highways are going, and we see that there is potential for much bigger. So we applied for 3 times, 4 times the height, and we got it. It was not easy, but we got it. And then we start clearing the land and putting a separation to protection for the public. And what you see on the metal sheet, we put advertising on it later. So nothing is lost, right? Michelle, okay, now the concept design architecture, this one is for luxury. So we have 1.7 acre in this shape, and we are talking about five towers, basically, tower A, B, C, D. And why luxury? Because each tower has only two apartments on each side. And each apartment are 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms. There's no 1 bedroom at all. So every project you do depends on your customers, on the end users, what they are looking for. And here we targeted the high end. So 2 units per floor and 2 lifts per tower. We are not, so that was one requirement. And maximum height and footprint. And this one, you see the picture below is in the middle of the 5 towers. And what we did is a 25-meter Olympic pool that we call. So if someone is really into gym, they just do a lap is 25 meters. And the small building at the back is just on top mini golf, the clubhouse. And we did a mini golf just next to the swimming pool. Now, the power team is important. Of course, the client, the developer, project manager. So what you see on the right is like a signboard we put on site. And what you see on already on the like project manager, architecture, interior designs, sales and marketing team, all these we were doing it in-house. So we don't take people from outside. We take people, what we can do, we do it inside, so we can control and carry on the project. And what we cannot do or takes too much time, we hire other consultants like environmental impact assessment, traffic impact assessment, quantity surveyors, structural engineers, mechanical engineer. And of course, later on, you will have the general contractor, landscaping, property manager, and the lawyers and accounting, of course. So this is your power team. Very important. If you don't know things, ask them. They will have to advise you because they know the market, right? Now, marketing and pre-sales, you have to do your plan, like a site plan, and then a sales plan. What are you offering? Area. What is optional? And maybe a reference number. And then in the press, you have to put as many press articles as you can so that people are aware that the project is there. And marketing pre-sales, you have to have your own price list. And this is where the money comes, right? So the price list is very important. You have to monitor it. Marketing strategy, what is your strategy to enter the market? Market analysis, the differentiation between, here we did three types, like on top completely is a penthouse. Just to let you know, the apartment on top was over 250 square meters. So 2,500 square foot on 2 levels, 4 bedrooms, even much bigger than many houses. And it's on the 11th floor. Now, the prestige and premium is a differentiation of height and differentiation in finishes. Now, we were selling by phases, and as much as the phase is going ahead, then the price increase so that you can recoup your investment and your profit, right? And what we did was a marketing strategy. We were taking a pre-sales list. And when we announced it, we were already 70% reserved in 4 weeks. So that means that it's a go. That means the go is you have the finance, you have the booking, you just go groundbreaking, basically. So we did a show house for the sales office. And this is an important part, like a milestone, the contract signature with a contractor. I can tell you it's very, it's not an easy one because once you sign the document, you cannot go back. You have to go up to the end, and you need to pay the contractor, and you need to collect all the money that is due for the project. And we were signing a lot of documents for the project. Now, the site works, supervision, like breaking ground, cost and quality control. You can see how intense it could be. Like even the foundation is much bigger than a human being, right? And then after several months, you see the building being erected. And 24 months after, this is the completed project, right? Now, this is a completed picture too. The swimming pool that I was talking about, 25 meters, that's it. And then they removed the tower crane, and we did some green walls and mini golf and so on, so that the customers, the people who are going to live there, are happy, right? Yep. So economy of scale is about, if we did the same 100 units, 116 units, you have to build 100 houses around the city. That means you need 100 roofs, 100 water pumps, 100 water heater pumps, and then maybe 100 contractors and property managers. So it's quite intense, and you're doing it on a larger scale, right? But one by one. So economy of scale is about the time saving. Instead of doing so many dispersed, you do most on one project. So of course, over 100 units is quite big, but you could do less, like even 10 unit, 20 unit, but instead of doing, if you do a 10 unit, it's like 10 houses, right? So design and permit is the same time, I mean, you just time X by the more income, let us put it that way, but for the same time, right? So any questions? That's the completed building. If you have any question, please do not hesitate. I will take the questions and then we'll go ahead. Yeah. Alicia, you want to go for the questions if I don't see the screen?
Yeah, there's no question right now. Just that, yes, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat.
I know not many people will do over 100 units. It's someone approached me from the group and say, I have a piece of land. What do you recommend me? Do I go for the whole thing? I don't know anything about construction. I have never designed a building. Do I develop the whole building and go ahead? I say it's up to you, because it's not just like some people say it's easy. It's not easy. It's a headache. It's a headache every day if you don't know what you do. If you know what you do, you have experience, that's fine. But even that, it's not easy job. It's a full-time job. It's a full responsibility, I can say. So this one is like this kind of building to build is not easy process. It's a long process, but you need to know step by step what to do. End of the day, as you see, it's achievable. The main thing is, what can you bring into the business? I'm an architect, for example. I'm a developer, so I learned how to do development. I didn't just guess. I went to university and they teach me what to do, and then I put into action, right? And then you need to use your connection to get the finance, to make the marketing, to build your power team, as I explained. Just don't go and say, oh, I have a big dream, I want to build it, and without any experience, you want to do something. So if you don't have much experience, then better you joint venture with someone who has the experience instead of doing a big leap like that. Better have someone who has experience. Even you do a partnership, you do a sharing of profit. You're also doing learning from doing it, right? So if you try to do everything yourself and you know nothing, you're going to go in deep into the hole, right? It's losing money, and no one wants that. I hope so. Sometime I hear on the social media some people say, oh, I want to do a big project or whatever, land acquisition and so on. When you look at the profile, they don't have any experience. And when you ask them, how are you going to finance that? They are just hoping to get OPM. So OPM, yes, you can get financing from people, but you have to get some experience at least, or in your power team have people who have the experience, right? So don't try to eat something that you cannot do. Any more questions? Any questions if you have?
Someone asked, what was the size of your first development building?
Of my first development building?
Yes.
Okay, I started small. I started doing a three-story building. The story that I was renting, I've been renting when I came back from university. I started renting a house. In the house, I started, part of it was my office. And within 7 years, I've been changing offices because I was growing so big, 4 times. At the end, we say no more. We cannot move any time. Just build our own building, right? So we save the money. We bought a piece of land. We build our own office building, which is ground plus 3-story. And that was the first development I did. And we were building it ourselves. So we learn by doing. We know all the costs of the construction, and we have we acquire expertise by doing that. And then the next building was an office building. We went much bigger that time. It was a 10-story, 100,000 square foot. So because we succeeded with a small one, then we can leverage and go bigger. And then we went even bigger afterwards. Yeah. So always start small, learn from that. If you want to start big, do a joint venture, a partnership, and then use your partner's experience. Yeah. Any other questions?
No questions, but they're saying thank you for the information. It's a good presentation.
I'm going to move for other slides, and then so in the future, what we are going to do upcoming events is financial freedom, like cash flow, how to get additional sources of income. I think many, not of course everyone, but many people are interested in having more education of financial education. We are talking later on scaling up in real estate, multiple door investing versus single family home, finding your niche market. I think it's important. Many people try to do everything, but at the same time, is it worth it? Because if you specialize in something, maybe it's more profitable for you. Modular homes, we are going to tackle that on Tuesday next in person in Halifax. Land development for vacation rentals. And this is another project that we are going to present on Tuesday. If you are in Halifax, you can join in. We are going to have a financial institution who are going to provide the finance that you might need if you're building a new home. So the idea behind, and it's quite exceptional for them to come to the office and explain how they finance new builds and how they do the draws. Like if you have a piece of land, they will explain how much you have to do deposit, and then how do you get the money little by little to be able to pay your contractor. So the idea behind is that come, learn from that, and then meet, network. See you next Tuesday in Halifax at Bayers Road for those who are in town. So if you have any topics you want in the future, or any guest speaker, just type in the chat or send us an email if you want to be a guest speaker. And then today we thank Rommel for taking the time to share his knowledge. So thank you.